Hello Palians, welcome back. The last update brought with it an Umbraan Gazebo, and today I'm going to try and decorate it and make it into a witchy haven. Don't forget to like and also subscribe if you want more Palia builds, but let's get into the video. So as with most builds, I started off by placing down my pavers. I'm going for these round stone ones to tie in with kind of the other builds that I've done on this plot. This is my Elderwood plot where I did my Pixie Grove, and I also did a video about some witchy build ideas, which you can find on this channel as well. This area is going to connect from like a little porch that I've put down, and then there is the gazebo over here. With the pavers all down, I really wanted to use some of the new flowers and things to make a nice looking walkway. The flowers from the Pixie Blossom Bounce, let me know which ones are your favorite, but I definitely love those lilacs. I have been begging for more bushes for such a long time, so I'm glad that we have more of them. They're just such good space fillers. And then as you can see, I did have a little bit of a moment with this fencing. I was like, how do I make it work? Because there isn't kind of a middle post, but I didn't want it to be like have nothing on the edge. Obviously you could probably add a light post on the end like I've done here if you didn't want to have that gap there, but I really wish that they had thought about this and kind of mirrored it so it kind of had the post, or if they had given us that single like post so we could really adapt the fencing a little bit more just to make it flow a bit better. But either way, I'm not going to complain too much because I really do love the new Umbraan fencing. It's such a beautiful fence, and I think it's really going to be versatile as well. Definitely not just for Elderwood plots 100%. And I like that we have the curved one and the straight one just to kind of break things up a bit, and you can add a bit more kind of fluidity to your builds as well. For this build, I'm trying to keep in with the kind of flora and fauna that I've used previously. So we're going to use some trees. Obviously these mushrooms are just wonderful as well. Another great kind of plant from that Pixie Bounce, and also just keep with the kind of going theme as well with the purple. And I want to try and add some glowy stuff as well. Here with me trying to figure out how I wanted the fence to kind of flow on the other side. I think breaking it up, not having like a whole fence there, kind of just helps make it feel a little bit more kind of not put together. I don't want this to be like a kind of formal, really elegant, well-structured plot, so having that just made it flow a little bit better. I think this is one of my favorite things to do, using that ancient table with all the rocks and then adding on that little flower that just adds a really nice pop of color, and it looks so nice at nighttime. Having these dotted around everywhere really does just add a nice glow to the whole kind of section. As you can see, it's kind of coming together a bit more using these wardrobes. I love to do that. Those are the elderflower wardrobe, and just turning them around, because part of them, if you get it on the right thing, you can't see that there's a door there, and they just kind of look like they are kind of like a tree that maybe has died or something. These yard work rocks are also another great thing for adding kind of detail to your landscaping. I'm not going to be able to go kind of all the way out like fully, but I do think that just having a nice little kind of decor thing here just makes it feel a little bit more put together. And then I decided I wanted to add this new archway to the gazebo. However, as you can see, I don't know if it's the height of the gazebo or for some reason you can't actually put it there. So what I had to do was ghost it. So what I did was I moved away the gazebo first of all, and then I kind of lined up where I wanted the archway, and then using my hotbar I ghosted away the archway. If you want a full video on how to do this, it is featured in my glitches video, and then you just move the gazebo back. Once you reloaded the plot, then it should appear with the gazebo and the archway all together. It's really simple to do, and unfortunately, it is only for PCs, so I should mention that I do use that technique quite a lot in this build, particularly for when we do a cauldron. And this is kind of the start of my interior. So as you can see, we've just started laying out some areas. I really wanted to use this makeshift bench with all of the flowers in because I think it's perfect, and I thought those Elderwood kind of wardrobes do kind of tie in nicely with this whole area and just add something nice to the details there. And then just because there was like a space poking through, I decided just to add in those flowers just to fill it out a little bit, and I think that worked quite nicely because again it's giving those pops of purple so you can really see them. The forager little planter there, a lot of people ask me about that. That is a guild straw item from assurers. So if you have lots of foraging medals, you can go ahead and buy that. I think you have to be like level 10 in game or something to be able to access the guild store, but it is 100% a worthwhile item, particularly if you're going for that more kind of witchy fantasy kind of aesthetic for your build. So this is just me. I'm just going to add in some random bits onto the shelves, trying to make it kind of not too uniform. So you really want to think about like pots and books and kind of gems and all sorts of things that you think you would find in sort of like a witch's house is kind of the inspiration I was going for this. The one downside for the makeshift bench, you might see me try and put kind of things on it, is that the placement area is a little bit off sometimes. So you really do have to struggle with that a little bit sometimes with getting more items on there. But I think it turned out okay in the end. And then I really wanted to make use of these wonderful lights. There are two kinds of these. However, one of them is a little bit more structured. This one just feels a little bit more natural. I won't lie, I was a little bit disappointed with the amount of light that these give off. So I do wish that they had maybe made them a little bit brighter just for kind of making it a little bit nicer in here. I also had to just do some like moving around just to get them in the center of the post there, just to make it a little bit better. Then we came up with the idea of doing a cauldron. I saw this large pot and we were talking on stream and I was like, oh yes, we could make that into a cauldron. So all I did was pop this on there, and then you want to ghost away that present and the pot with it. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky to get it, and obviously you wanted to place down the kind of fire pit as well, but I didn't like the way that it looked with just one fire pit, so I decided to go in with 4. So you just have to kind of do this repeatedly. Again, you're just ghosting away each individual fire pit, and then when you reload the plot, it will kind of appear that the 4 fire pits are all really close together. I did also try this with 6, just because I was trying to make it look more circular. However, it didn't quite work. If you put the red present, the Umbraan pot on the red present, then ghost away the Umbraan pot and then add the forage planter, you will get this effect as well with the kind of planter coming through. Now you might be thinking, that doesn't look all that smooth, but if you kind of just hold on a second, and I kind of do add some pieces in just to make it feel a little bit fuller, as I wasn't a big fan of the kind of indents that the fire pits left, but we did have a solution for that. Thank you. I think it was Consulting Detective in my stream chat who suggested what I'm about to do, and it really did help. This rug as well, I've kind of struggled with placing the rugs in the gazebo. So top tip, if you want to place down a rug, obviously I had to move everything out because it wasn't allowing me to place it, but that's just another simple ghosting technique. But yeah, it wasn't allowing me to place it. So all I did was go in with a butcher's block, and then that allowed me to place the rug on top. It probably is floating a tiny little bit, but I don't think it's noticeable, so I'm happy with that. And then again, you just need to reload your plot and everything will return back to how it was. So as I said, I was adding in foliage just to kind of build out, but then someone suggested using the ancient tables. So all I'm doing is placing an item on top of the ancient table and then alt selecting it and moving it into place, because the game thinks that you're just trying to place the bottle or the cup or whatever it is that you're trying to place. And then I just wanted to kind of add more of these around because I was really liking the way that it looked. It kind of felt like it was growing, or like it had kind of some natural formation, even though obviously the fire pit probably wouldn't. But I mean, you could have fire pits with lots and lots of rocks all around, so perhaps that was maybe the look I was going for. Either way, I think it looked good. So this is kind of the avenue that I went down, really adding lots of kind of details around here. There was a lot of kind of glitching and stuff, just ghosting things out of the way to try and make it work, but it was worth it in the end. I tried to add some of the little baby mushrooms. They, for some reason, didn't want to be placed. I don't know why, but some of the other flowers, they did allow me. I think there possibly would be a way to get them placed, but maybe it was just kind of how the rug was sitting, perhaps, that kind of did affect that. And then here is what it kind of looks like fully. We're getting there now. I'm just adding in some more final bits. I really like these mushroom things. Always forget to use them, but I definitely think that they're perfect for this build as well. So just getting them nice and in there. It wasn't allowing me to place stuff on the rugs again, so I did have to just move that out of the way. And then I wanted some more bottles and just knickknacks just to decorate around. So it's like it's been left there perhaps. So these bottles, these have been colored. So I wanted to add some more pops of color. And this one is the short enchanted candle, which you can get from one of the quests. I believe it's one with Hassian. I could be very wrong about that. But either way, there is a tall variety and a short variety. And again, they're wonderful for magical builds and stuff. And then this is what the kind of cauldron look like in the end. I will say it is perfect for cooking a human. Do I recommend that you cook your friends? Probably not. I don't think that they would taste delicious, nor do I think that they would make a good potion. But either way, it does make for room for someone to sit in there if you really wanted to. Okay, so cauldron done. It's time to kind of go back to what the other things were. So back to kind of decorating these shelves. I really was constantly getting distracted as some of this was done on stream. If you're wondering why there's so many like light changes and things, it's because some of this was decorated on stream, and it does take me a lot longer when I'm decorating on stream than it does, I think, if I just sit down and I'm like, oh yes, I'm just gonna decorate now. So some of this I did finish off stream. This part was part of stream, I believe. But yeah, getting all of those knickknacks does take a lot of time anyway, I think, because you're wanting to get the placement right. Sometimes you place things down and they don't look quite right, and then you remember something that you wanted to add. So yeah, decorating bookshelves definitely does take a long time. But as I say, I definitely think bookshelves shelving is more interesting when you have a lot of different things as opposed to just kind of chucking down books. That does look super effective, obviously, if you're doing a library, but for a build such as this, I definitely think having lots of mixture of items is the way to go. Potato pods also make great decoration. I don't know how the witch would use them. Honestly, I don't want to think about that, whether they would be chopped up and put into some sort of potion. I feel like that would be very cruel, but they do kind of add some kind of personality to your bookshelves. And some of them, particularly the ones which have more flowers on them, or the tree ones, definitely fit better than some of the other ones. I also like the rocker ones for this, just simply because it's very purple. So that's my back kind of wall done. The next one I wanted to do was this side, and I thought it would be nice to have maybe like a sink area, so I decided to use the Valley Sunrise one. I was gonna try and save some modification kits and not color it, but when I placed it down I was like, oh no, I definitely think it needs that pop of purple. So here we are. I think it looks a bit better in that purple. And then to add some decoration behind the back of these, I decided to add in these tree things. I did contemplate in my head about building walls for this and fully enclosing the gazebo. However, I don't think I really wanted that look. I don't think the building blocks would have looked all that good. I mean, if I had like millions and millions of the Alderwood branch wall items, I think you'll probably know which ones I mean, the ones that have all of those flowers and things on. Imagine filling like all the walls with that and then covering this whole area. That would look absolutely magical. However, item limit and also resources. I definitely do not have the resources to do that, but it would have looked amazing if I did. But yeah, that is a lot of work, I think. And also, I'm not sure the builder's walls would line up all that well, because I'm not sure that they're going to be the height of 2, so you might just end up with kind of like odd bits here and there. But I mean, if you're going to give it a try, definitely do. And then I just grabbed this little stool because I want to kind of play a little bit with height. So we've got a little frog plush to go up here. I mean, frog plushes, the schmoes, they're definitely perfect for this witchy kind of aesthetic. So I definitely need more of them. The frog ones I've been doing okay with so far. The schmo ones are the ones that seem to evade me a lot more, despite it feels like I've been hunting them for absolutely hours and hours. So let me know which one you have more plushes of. Maybe you have more Ogapoo ones as well. I'm curious. Obviously, it probably depends on which way you spend most of your time playing, but sometimes you can get really lucky. So this section over here, we've got a sink. This one I wanted to be the desk area, so I added in the Moonstruck desk, which is a gorgeous desk. Whenever I'm doing desks or study spaces, I definitely think this is one that I gravitate towards more. And because we are doing kind of Umbraan furniture, I wanted to use that Umbraan chair. I don't think I've really used it much, but it is a really good chair. I don't know why I'm gushing over a chair, but it is a really nice chair. They have done a great job with that whole Umbraan set, and I'm very, very impressed. I did kind of use the Alt Select just to kind of mess around and really try and get the placement right. But at this point, I realize that there is kind of a little bit of a bug, and I don't know whether it's because I'm decorating in the gazebo. All that I've really done so far since the update is actually decorate in this gazebo. I haven't decorated elsewhere, but it feels like every time I was trying to place things down, it like shifted a little bit to the left, which was very, very frustrating. So I don't know if that's a known bug. I really should look into it and perhaps report it, but I'm not sure if it is just for the gazebo. So again, if you have been decorating, let me know if that is affecting you as well, because it most of the time is not all that much of a problem, but when you're really trying to line things up and make them nice and straight, it is a little bit of an issue. And yeah, it shouldn't be like that, should it? So I decided to add in the Umbraan dresser behind the desk just to give it some height. And then this means that I can add some nice details up there, and make them all a little bit like fancy kind of backdrop. I like doing this with my desk spaces, like having them like two-tiered desks, just because that does allow you to add more clutter in. And I'm always here for that clutter. So I did try and add some things. I decided to put the ladybird on the shelf because why not? And that's another great kind of plushie as well, one of my favorites. I really wanted to get this big bouquet of flowers in the center just to kind of add a nice feature here. And plus, who doesn't want to work when you're absolutely surrounded by flowers? And also, I thought the little alarm clock would be nice just so that you can keep an eye on the time while you're working really hard and probably just like staring at it, hoping for the work time to be over. But either way, it's a nice little detail to add to desks. And then I was just kind of finishing off the kind of bookshelves. I struggle with, a lot of the time, I do struggle with knowing how big the space is to know what will fit on the shelves. I don't know why. It's just something that I can't visualize it until I've actually placed it down. So if you're wondering why, Emma, why are you trying all these different things? That's why. But yeah, now it's daytime and we kind of get another look at this area, which is quite nice. It's quite nice to see all of the different times and kind of really understand what time of day looks best. I've still not decided which one I prefer more, whether I prefer nighttime or daytime. This is the kind of the fourth wall that we're working on, and I am going to do this symmetrical. I just want this to be like storage for potions and whatnot and books and all that sort of thing, because it kind of does feel like there needs to be more of that, even though I have like a million books shelves here with lots and lots of stuff. But I was kind of running out of ideas as to how to kind of fill these spaces, as I really wanted to have it all fully around it. I did use the pantries, and as you can see, I was probably way overthinking this glitch where it is moving. I did my best to make it lined up. Not sure how much it really is, but again, I wanted to add these branches in behind just to add some kind of details. It's nice to have like backdrops, I think. I don't know why, it's just something that I've always loved to do. I just feel like it helps make the build feel that little bit more finished. So we're back adding in pots. I haven't even spoken about these Umbraan pots yet. These are great, and I really wanted to tie them in a bit more, having them everywhere. Also, these little sacks. Absolutely love the sacks. I don't know why I haven't used them so far, but I do think that they are a great item. It's like little items like this that really do, I feel, kind of help elevate builds in certain ways. And I also think that they would be good to go with the builder set that we had a few updates ago. Maybe they're just a bit more industrial feeling, which is nice, but obviously you can use them for anything you like. At this point, I was really just emptying out my inventory and I came across this big pot and I thought it would be nice to have it at the entrance. I am very upset that we don't have some better barrels. I'm still going to be on this kind of hill of we need bigger, better barrels, because the ones that we have present are just not it. They're so small, and whenever you try and place stuff on top of them, they kind of move as well. Like nothing seems to sit in center on top of them, which makes it a little bit awkward. As you can see, though, I'm not going to spend the day ranting about barrels for you because that would be very boring. But as you can see, I am just replicating what I did over on the other side. I'm obviously going to change up what's on the shelves, though, because we don't want it to be too symmetrical. I don't think that that's how anyone would really live, perhaps, unless you are kind of very kind of like things to be exactly the same. I don't think that that's how a witch would have her kind of potion storage at all. So yeah, this was much quicker to do when I knew what I was doing. So quickly I could just place things down, and the area just feels a lot more enclosed now, which is nice, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it to be open. I wanted it to have like that fully enclosed space, and I'm quite glad with how I did do that. And I think it kind of is interesting having like different aspects. We're not going to talk about the spaces between the books. I've just realized how bad they look. They did not look great when I was placing them down, but again, I think that's that awkward bug where it's moving things just a little bit. So maybe when that is fixed, I will come back through and kind of tidy them up a bit. But for now, it is what it is. I'm not going to kind of sit here procrastinate over it over a tiny little space for now, because I think it kind of would defeat the point of trying to do a build, and I would get very caught up on it. So I did add some more stuff to the desk, and then we just have these shelves over here to kind of really finish up and tidy up a bit. So again, just repeating more books, candles, those little votifs, which is from one of the Elder Wood quests. So cute. I know they're absolutely tiny, but I really enjoy having kind of a nice mix of different size things, and I think they are a nice little item, so props to them for that. I really do hope that we get some more nice like little kind of decor clutter pieces that you would see like maybe more at home. I really also still want stacks of books. If you're an Animal Crossing player, then you know what I'm talking about. That was one of my go-to decorating items. Still to this day, I use the stack of books so much. So I really would love to see that. And I don't think it would be too hard for them to create. Maybe they need to do a whole like library line with more bookshelves and stuff like that. Because some of the bookshelves also do annoy me a little bit because they don't actually kind of mirror. Again, I was talking about this right at the beginning of this video with the mirroring of the fencing. Another thing that annoys me is the annoy is probably a strong word, but is the mirroring of some of the bookshelves, because I would really love to create like features, but it does make it a lot harder when some of them have like slants on them and you just can't flip them and do it the other way. So I was pretty much done with the inside, I think, at this point. So I decided to kind of add some more detail to the outside because I want it to be nice when you kind of walk through to the center. So having some nice little rug here is what I wanted to add, just to add some more color, because the floor is very brown. But again, I did have difficulty placing rugs, so what I had to do was just put the butcher's block down, and some of the butcher's blocks actually kind of poke through, which means that once you place the rug down you can then go and pick it up, which I thought was quite handy. And no floating rugs. Then there will be no Aladdin's carpet in this gazebo apart from the one in the center, but we're not going to talk about that. I really don't think it's that obvious, so if you do have like the same difficulties I do, I just say just do it. It's the easiest way to do it. Obviously there are other ways that you can glitch rugs in place, but the easiest option is probably sometimes the best option, because you don't want to give yourself a headache over the placement of one single rug. Definitely not. That takes away the fun of decorating for me, I think. So yes, some more flowers. I have tried to add in and incorporate flowers on the inside as well, but also we just needed to make some adjustments on the outside. I wanted to add some more of these lights so that it glows a little bit more here, but as you can see, it was perfectly turning to nighttime at this point, so I can really see how much things glow. I totally forgot to use these datura flowers, and I'm glad that I went back and had a look and grabbed some, because they do add to the glow, which is always nice. Just had to give that one a little bit of a water. This little section, I was like, oh, what can we do here? Because we're nearly at the end here, and I decided I might want an area where I can kind of split off, maybe have like a flower garden or something for my witch. So I decided just to add in a little archway so I can kind of build off there. This might totally depend on the item limit and how much item limit I have left. I still need to do and finish finish off my interiors. But yeah, this is kind of the end point now. So I just added down some final pavers, and what I will do now is give you a full walkthrough of what it looks like. So here is the kind of walkway that we first worked on. As you can see, this is during the day, but just imagine it at nighttime. We've got all these wonderful purple colors. Hopefully it will glow really, really beautiful. And then here is the entrance to the actual gazebo. I think you need to jump up. Yes, you do. There we go. So we jumped up. I did actually add some more kind of butterflies and things around because I was like, I've done all this and I've not added many bugs and things. So I really wanted to get some more of them. And as you can see, I've also added some trees around the whole outside just because I wanted to enclose it. So maybe I will change that out and add some purple trees as well. But I think the nice contrast of the green is quite nice here. So here is the first kind of section that we've got, and then it flows round to that sink area. And then we just keep going, and there's more kind of sink space. No, there's not more sink space. There's more bookshelves. As you can see, you do still get the glow in here because it is quite dark, even though it is the daytime, I think obviously because of the roof. This is the kind of study area. As you can see, nice little desk space. And then back round to this other kind of bookshelf storage area over here. And then, of course, in the center, the kind of main focal point for the whole gazebo is, of course, the cauldron, or my kind of take on the cauldron. It's not necessarily a fully witchy one, as that would probably need to be like proper metal, but I think it kind of works. I think it does work. I just realized not all of the things are on. But yeah, I like the way that it gives that glow, which is quite fun. And then having the little kind of spores in the center that kind of pop up now and then, like there we go, just makes it feel a little bit more magical. So I'm really happy with that, how that cauldron came out. And I do have to say thank you so much to those of you that were watching when we were doing this and just gave me some ideas and pointers on how to do that. And I hope if you were looking for a way to build a cauldron that isn't too complicated, then I think this is one. Obviously you're going to need to be on PC to do the glitch, but I still think it works nicely. So there we have it. There is my gazebo build all done. I'm quite happy with it. I think this is a gorgeous building. Let me know if you've unlocked the gazebo, if you have started decorating one, and what you're doing with it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.